He already built one successful business from nothing. Now watch him accidentally invent bulletproof glass, get targeted by jealous rivals, open a second branch in a brand new city, and hunt down 200 tree monsters, all while still finding time to run a laundry shop and throw the best festival stall in town. This is the next chapter of Ryoma's story, the office worker turned overpowered mage who just can't stop building things. Act 1. Glass, medicine, and a new god, the bamboo forest, Ryoma's slime-powered laundry business is thriving. Business is so good that his assistant manager Carla has to gently point out a problem. Whenever Ryoma shows up early, he ends up doing all the work himself, leaving his newer employees no room to actually learn the job. He agrees to start coming in later, and Carla tries to steer the conversation toward the shop's future, but before they can get far, they're interrupted by a commotion out front. Ryoma's friend Ilya showed up with news that pulls him right back into his workshop in the mine shafts. There, experimenting with his sticky slimes, Ryoma discovers he can extract the moisture from their solution to create a hardened, glass-like material, a pain so strong that even his own magically reinforced punches can't scratch it. While packing up his creation, he notices something unusual. One of his sticky slimes has evolved. Testing his theory that it drank some spilled antidote, he confirms it. The slime has become a medicinal slime capable of producing both cures and poisons on command. Curious about his growing knack for invention, Ryoma visits the local church and is pulled into a divine audience with the god of craft, who reveals he's been quietly observing Ryoma's talent for a while now. It's a short meeting, but it leaves Ryoma with plenty to think about. Act 2. Sabotage and back at the shop, Ryoma installs his new unbreakable glass panes throughout the building for security, careful to leave a few normal windows in place so staff can still escape in an emergency. Carla, ever business-minded, gently pushes him again to consider expanding to a second location, a suggestion that makes him visibly uncomfortable. Though he agrees to think it over, that discomfort turns out to be justified. A stranger shows up at the shop, loudly accusing the laundry service of destroying his clothes, until Ryoma inspects the damaged garment and proves it was deliberately sliced with a knife, not ruined by the slimes at all. It's the second incident of its kind, and Carla starts to suspect someone is deliberately targeting their reputation, especially since, as far as she can tell, they don't even have any real competitors who'd benefit from it. Around the same time, 3 curious researchers visit the shop, stunned by the sheer variety of Ryoma's slimes, and beg to be hired after he casually reveals the secret they'd been missing all along. Slimes evolve based on exactly what they're fed, not just whatever scraps happen to be lying around. It turns out members of the Beast Taming Guild are furious that a beast tamer named Taylor has been publicly endorsing Ryoma's slimes as legitimate companions on par with traditional beast stuff, and they've decided to take it out on his business. When assailants start tailing him at night, Ryoma turns the tables, using his tamed limber birds for reconnaissance and calmly picking off the attackers with anesthetic-tipped needles, handing each group over to the authorities. Even when the guildmasters advise him to lay low, Ryoma decides to handle it his own way, hunting down the goons responsible night after night, occasionally having to heal them himself before turning them in, until word spreads that crossing him is a very bad idea and the attacks finally taper off. Between hiring a bodyguard named Dulcie, training his front desk staff in self-defense, and finally reviewing Carla's impressive sales numbers, Ryoma is convinced it's time to open a second branch. Act 3. A new city, a new business. Ryoma travels to the bustling trade town of Leinaff, where he meets the wealthy merchant Piori and his daughter Miyabi, who are stunned to learn just how young and accomplished Ryoma really is. Piori shows him around the city's uniquely interconnected guild system, explaining how the Adventurers Guild gathers raw materials, the Craftsman's Guild turns them into finished goods, the Merchants Guild finds buyers for everything, and the Transport Guild moves it all around on Dragonback, every guild working for the collective benefit of the city rather than competing against each other. Impressed by the harmony of it all, Ryoma is even more pleased when Piori personally picks out a building for his second shop, conveniently located right across from Piori's own corporation, registering with the local Adventurers Guild. Ryoma reveals over dinner that he wants to join here as well, surprising both Piori and Miyabi, who mentions that a dangerously strong monster has recently been terrorizing the city's outskirts, making life difficult for lower-ranked adventurers. Undeterred, Ryoma heads out on a simple herb-gathering quest quest the next day, only to run into two adventurers fleeing from that very monster, a massive, thick-hided beast called a Smash Boar. Rather than run himself, Ryoma stands his ground, and after his arrows fail to pierce its hide, finishes the beast with a single magic-reinforced punch, saving the fleeing adventurers and healing their badly injured teammate on the spot with his healing magic and healing slime. The incident briefly gets him in trouble for hunting above his rank, but with the adventurers testifying on his behalf, it's ruled self-defense. Piri, impressed by how efficiently Ryoma's bloody slime drains the boar's meat for cooking without wasting a drop, turns Ryoma's own boar recipe into a hit dish at his restaurant soon after. Not long after, the second bamboo forest branch opens for business, and with Carla holding down the original shop, Ryoma heads back to his hometown, already thinking about his next project, raising his adventurer rank as quickly as possible. Act 4. Inventions, deodorant slimes, and a growing empire determined to level up efficiently, Ryoma takes on a delivery quest to a nearby town, partly because he's heard rumors of a magic item market there worth checking out. Delivering the package leads him to Denon, a gifted but struggling inventor working himself ragged trying to earn enough money to send his talented young grandson to the Royal Academy. Introduced by his merchant friend Serge as one of the country's most accomplished young businessmen, Ryoma quickly wins Denon's trust and is shown his half-finished magic-powered car. A concept so far ahead of anything in this world that even Serge has no idea what he's looking at. Ryoma also notices a small, elegant gear mechanism sitting nearby, and is stunned to learn Denon's own 4-year-old grandson built it entirely on his own, using magic as a power source. While the adults talk business, Ryoma spends some time with the lonely little boy, pulling toys from his magical storage chest, and inventing a simple game to keep him entertained. That evening at dinner, Ryoma tinkers together a simple music box of his own just for fun, impressing Serge so much that he insists Ryoma should start producing them properly for sale to the wealthy. Back home, Ryoma discovers his charcoal-eating cleaner slime has evolved into a deodorizing slime capable of removing odors from anything. He puts it to immediate use, fixing a stranger's broken cart and neutralizing a barrel of unbearably pungent fermented fish for Piri, who's more than happy to reward him with a barrel of the now much less smelly delicacy. Not long after, Ryoma gets an urgent message. His cleaner slimes and Leinaff have mysteriously multiplied to over 70, likely thanks to the sheer volume of laundry work keeping them well fed. He rushes over using his spatial magic, tames every last one of them, and reassures a relieved Carla that there's nothing to worry about. Act 5. Festival, preparations, and old friends with Leinaff's Founders Festival approaching, Ryoma decides to set up a stall to showcase his products and introduce the town to food from every corner of the world he's picked up from his diverse staff. At a small get-together to help everyone bond beforehand, he meets Penance, the charismatic leader of a famous band who's been personally invited to perform at the festival, and specifically wanted to meet Ryoma after hearing so much about him. Eager to keep leveling up before the big event, Ryoma takes on a quick quest to hunt giant ants, and runs into the very same group of adventurers he'd helped fix a broken cart for earlier. Teaming up, since Ryoma has the location of the ant colony and they have the quest to clear it, they wipe out the entire nest together, using his cleverly repurposed slimes turn sword and a chain of danger-sensing slimes to track the ants underground. Grateful for the help, Ryoma brings the group back to his place and offers them temporary work, helping set up his festival stall, a decision that gets an unexpected vote of confidence from his bodyguard, Dulce, who reveals he already knows and trusts them from his work helping people in the slums. Just as preparations ramp up, the guild master approaches Ryoma with a lucrative but unusual request. The festival's entire decor theme requires Trent wood, tree-like monsters that are notoriously dangerous to hunt, and they need at least 200 branches. Recognizing it as perfect practice for eventually returning to the dangerous forest he once called home, Ryoma accepts the job. 6. The hunt for 200 Trents before the hunt begins. Asagi introduces Ryoma to Lapin, a fellow spatial magic user who explains the golden rule of Trent hunting. Always keep your magic detection active, since a Trent is indistinguishable from a normal tree until it's already attacking you. He also explains the fastest way to kill one. A clean strike to the face is enough to end it instantly. Heading into the forest, Lapine senses a magical aura coming from what looks like an ordinary tree, and sure enough, it turns out to be their first Trent, lashing out with its branches the moment it's provoked. Mia makes quick work of it with her sword, and Ryoma successfully lands his own first Trent kill shortly after, aided by his slimes and Lapin's efficient spatial storage magic. During a break, Ryoma spots a strange flying slime, and with Lapin's help snagging it out of the air, adds a brand new type to his growing collection. The hunt takes a dangerous turn when the group senses an unusually powerful dark aura. A Grand Trent, far bigger and stronger than the others, capable of attacking from underground roots while corroding any iron weapon that touches it. Thinking fast, Ryoma throws up a barrier to block its root attacks and produces a stainless steel axe immune to its corrosive touch, handing out matching weapons to the rest of the team so they can distract it while he builds something bigger. A massive improvised Morning Star, which finally brings the Grand Trent down for good. That evening, the group celebrates their successful hunt with a well-earned feast before heading back to town the next day. Finale. The Founders Festival back home. Ryoma is stunned to see how much progress his temporary festival crew made in just 2 days, building out an entire stage and stall layout on their own initiative. He finalizes the festival menu with Callum adding one more personal touch, his own recipe for tea, which becomes an instant favorite. Serge shows up with the finished music box prototype, its melody so beautiful it leaves Ryoma genuinely proud of the collaboration. Around the same time, Piri arrives by Dragonback for a surprise visit, delivering a shipment of miso and soy sauce for Asagi's own festival stall, leading to an impromptu taste test of fresh tempura and rice balls that everyone agrees is outstanding. On the day of the festival itself, Ryoma makes his rounds, checking out Mia and Asagi's miso soup stall, watching Penance personally promote his music box by playing it live on a harp, which to Serge's delight sells out almost instantly, prompting an order for mass production, and finally diving into his own overwhelmed stall to help serve tea and vegetable stir-fry, using his metal slime reshaped into a makeshift vegetable shredder to keep up with demand. During a break, he stumbles across a crying, lost child and personally walks the entire festival grounds with him, reassuring him the whole way until they're reunited with his relieved, tearful mother waiting at the local police station, both of them breaking down in happy tears the moment they see each other. As evening falls, Penance's band opens the night's performances with a stunning sword dance. Remembering the exotic guitar Ryoma once played for them, the crew convinces him to bring it out again, and his performance captivates the entire crowd, closing out the festival on a high note. Exhausted but happy, Ryoma heads home to rest, already looking ahead to whatever new business, invention, or monster hunt tomorrow will bring. That's the next chapter in the story of a salaryman who died from overwork and is now living the exact opposite kind of life, building a business empire one slime, one invention, and one festival stall at a time. If you want to see everything else Ryoma builds along the way, go check out the full series for yourself. And let me know in the comments, what would you invent first with slime-powered magic?